Alright, so we are going to go through and talk about the universe, the galaxies, and our solar system. So you have your fill in the blank notes, and you're going to be writing down the underlined stuff. Okay, so before we start talking, we're going to need to talk a little bit about light years. Light years. When we did our schema stuff, some of you said that light year was things that are really far away. It's a really long time. Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story, and that's okay. Those are all connections that we have. But light years is the distance that light can travel in 1 year. Okay? So a light year is not necessarily about time. At, well, it's a combination of time and distance. Okay? 1 light year is about 9.5 trillion kilometers, or 6 trillion miles. Okay? And light is the fastest traveling thing that we know of. Okay? So what you have is you have the light from the sun reaches Earth in 8 minutes. So the Earth, as you can see, is a 0.000015625 light years away from the sun. That's still really far away if you think about it. Okay, so what that means is if the sun were to burn out like a light bulb, it would be 8 minutes before we knew it. Okay, so universe includes all existing matter but is mostly empty space. Okay, so the universe, as we were saying, it's always getting bigger. The universe is basically everything, but there is some empty space. So within the universe, you have groups of stars that are called galaxies that are held together by the gravity of a central black hole. So there's this huge thing in the middle that has enough gravity, and gravity is what causes things to orbit. Galaxies are going to orbit. Solar systems are groups of planets and other atoms that revolve around one star in a galaxy, held together by the gravity of that star. So if you look up into the sky at night and you see all the stars, for the most part, all of those stars have planets or other things revolving around them. And then you'll have groups of stars with their respective solar systems that are revolving around a black hole within that galaxy. Okay? Okay, so we kind of did this with our schema. So in this slide is the universe. You have galaxy, so the whole slide, the whole black space is the universe. You have galaxy A, you have galaxy B. Okay, so you'll notice that these kind of have a circular path, but there's empty space in here. Okay, so you have billions of stars in galaxy A and billions of stars in galaxy B. Okay, so your solar system, wrong button. Your solar system has planets, comets, meteors, stuff like that. Okay. Alright, so galaxies. There are millions of galaxies. The one that we live in, which you probably already know, is the Milky Way galaxy, which is about 75,000 light years across. And if you remember when we talked about a light year is the distance that light will travel in 1 year. The next closest galaxy to ours is 2.2 million light years away, and it's the Andromeda galaxy. That means you would have to take 2.2 million times 6 trillion to figure out how far away it is in miles. That's a lot of zeros. Okay, so here is a galaxy. In the center of this, which is where everything is revolving around, you have that center black hole. Our sun is about here, 25,000 light years away from the center. Okay, so a star is a burning ball of gas and plasma. Plasma is not like the plasma in your TV or the plasma in your blood. It is a type of matter. There are lots of states of matter. We just talk about three: solid, liquid, and gas. But there's lots more than that. Okay? So, and as we talked about before, there are lots of stars in the Milky Way galaxy. All you need to do is look up at night and you'll see how many there are. The next closest star to ours, besides the Sun, is called Proxima Centauri, and it's 4.2 light years away. So it takes light 4 years to travel, which means it's over 24 trillion miles away from us. Why do the stars seem so small? Stars seem small because they are so far away. The distance is why they seem so small. Objects in our solar system. So there's lots of different things in our solar system, and all of them are held in place or in orbit by the gravity of the Sun. Okay, so the things that you're going to find in our solar system, you can see them all here: the Sun, the planets, dwarf planets, and there is more than one, moons, comets, asteroids, meteors, and meteorites. I know some of you were having a discussion about what's the difference between these two. Well, we're going to find out. Okay, so what we consider our Sun technically is a star. Okay, so why does it not look like other stars? Well, because it's closer. Okay. Planets, large celestial bodies that revolve around a star with almost circular orbits. Okay, celestial, we talked about what that was. Okay, some planets are going to have satellites. Satellites is not necessarily talking about dish network TVs. Okay, a satellite is anything that is going to revolve around or orbit around a bigger object. Our moon is considered a satellite. Okay, moons are smaller celestial bodies that revolve around planets. Okay, planets, large celestial bodies, revolve around a star. Moons revolve around a planet. Moons are sometimes called satellites. Okay, satellites can be natural like moons or man-made like the Hubble telescope, and we will talk about the Hubble a little later. Planets and moons can be made of many different things, such as gas, rock, or even metal. So, way back when, I learned that there were 9 planets in the solar system. However, as we learn more, thanks to the Hubble and the other space exploration things, we've decided that there are only 8. That Pluto is no longer a planet. So you'll see here, you have all these different planets here, and they are somewhat to scale. And then way out here, this little tiny thing is Pluto. Pluto is not a planet. It's considered a dwarf planet. And you'll also notice the size. So here's the Sun. Okay. These are considered the inner planets. Then you have this thing here called the asteroid belt. And then you have the outer planets. Okay. Dwarf planets. So earlier someone was asking me, well, what's a dwarf planet? A dwarf planet is something that's very similar to a planet, but some of their characteristics disqualify them as a planet. Okay, Pluto is a dwarf planet for lots of reasons. And we'll come back and talk about those in a little bit. Comets are smaller celestial bodies that orbit the Sun and leave a coma or a tail of dust and gas behind them. Okay, so Halley's Comet, or here's a comet right here, and you'll see the trail. That's a comet. Okay. Comets can come within a few hundred kilometers of Earth or can be even farther away than Pluto. Okay, so here you see the orbits of the planets, the kind of blue and green thing right here. This out here, this is the path of a comet. For whatever reason, their orbit is something different. Okay. Asteroids are basically rocks, whereas comets are made of like dust and gas and usually some ice or frozen gas. Asteroids are mostly rocks. rocky bodies that orbit the sun between Mars and Jupiter in the asteroid belt. So between Mars and Jupiter, there's a tremendous space. You can see here the orbits. They're pretty close together. Okay, and by the way, you can see Mercury and Venus in the sun, not in the sun, in the sky. You just have to know what you're looking for, and I'll show you those later. But between Mars and Jupiter, besides being this huge space, it's basically a bunch of floating, orbiting rock. It's like a gravel road gets thrown up in the air and starts to circle. Okay. If you've seen, the movie with Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck, Armageddon. Okay, what they are trying to prevent from hitting Earth is a giant asteroid, which is a giant hunk of rock. Okay. Okay, so now, meteors and meteorites. Meteors are small particles of space debris burning as it enters the atmosphere at a high speed. Space debris, it could be space trash from space exploration. It could be a planet that got hit by an asteroid. It could be just stuff like that. Okay, a meteorite is that same space debris that actually makes it through the atmosphere and reaches the surface. So a meteor is burning up, and this is what we call shooting stars. Okay, a meteorite is what actually makes it down to the ground. And if you ever get a chance to go to Washington, D.C., you can go to the Smithsonian and you can see some of the meteorites that have actually hit the ground. Some of them are radioactive, so of course you can't touch them, but it's pretty cool. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stop this recording for now. So you've got the first part of it, basically the terms and things like that. The next video that you'll need will finish up the notes for you, talking about gravity and how it impacts it and kind of show you some of the pictures.